pushing problems to the citizens. If you cannot rule, don't ask for position.
It's the only one. All the other governors, I have to say that they're cowards. They're diffusing. We don't kill kidnappers anymore in Nigeria. We don't kill armed robbers anymore.
For the security agencies to say they received over 30 distress calls and that the terrain were not accessible to them. So what have they been doing all this while?
The reflection.
The reflection.
The reflection.
The reflection.
The reflection.
It's history, people, happenings, politics, places, and backstories. Every conversation brings you closer to reflect on our worldviews. Don't miss Reflections every Saturday from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Adami Mogo 93.1 FM, Lagos. With me, Sam Olugbemidi. Let's reflect.
Good morning, it's still Reflections on Adami Mogo 93.1 FM. My name, once again, is Sam Olugbemide, and I still have Mr. Femioni with me in the studio. But joining me this morning is the president of the Yoruba Ronu Leadership Forum, Mr. Akin Malaolu. I hope I got that name correctly. Good morning, sir.
Yes, good morning.
Thank you very much. Let's start off with this one. I think I came across one of your tweets where you said you were not entirely going to support the Super Eagles. You don't want to bother yourself with whatever it is that the team is doing because of the current situation of the country. But the team seems to be giving us a bit of reprieve, at least a bit of relief when you look at all the things going on. Do you think you want to go out there and drum up support for them, perhaps now that they are in the semis?
Well, I am the president of the Leadership Forum, and my focus should be on the generality of the Nigerian people. Perhaps I must be very, very clear. The insecurity is so much, the killings are also so much. And whatever is going to kill the joy of Nigerians should be our focus in the forum. Eagles is not on my mind. I will repeat it again. The insecurity, kidnapping, and deaths, those are the things that are agitating my own mind. When I tweeted, that's my reaction to Eagles.
All right.
I will still not watch the game. I'm not even watching it.
But let's look at it. The prognosis of, let's even say that the situation doesn't exactly look really great. Over 2,400 persons that have been killed, and about 1,872 persons have been kidnapped since President Bola Tinubu took over. That's the claim by the Civil Society Joint Action Group, which is a coalition of civil society organizations in Nigeria. The figures do not look good. But Mr. President says that everything has been done. The National Security Advisor said, well, we are not coming out to the media to say that this is what we are doing, but we are putting every effort possible to ensure that we make Nigeria safe. If the effort put in does not reflect the outcome, is it sufficient to damn them and say that, well, they are not working in the interest of Nigerians who need to be safe and secure?
Well, you see, there is something we should understand about leadership. Every leader must have desire and the energy. I must confess to you, Tinubu has the ambition to be president and he has gotten it. But what of the desire and the energy? Ribadu, that is the National Security Advisor, could come up with a statement. Anybody could do that. But the facts on ground is so clear. The stark reality is that the government is not doing enough. It's not supervisory enough. In fact, if you look at the whole situation, it's as if we have a government that does not understand the meaning of division of labor. I could remember one of the statement came out by Badabia Miller, writing a petition to DSS about certain allegations against him. But if you are going to write to DSS, that is an intelligence agency. It's not investigative in character to that level. It is the police that you should have direct. That's why I'm telling you that they don't understand the meaning of division of labor. When you start to put investigation into intelligence jobs, you are distracting them. We have a DSS that cannot give intelligence properly to help the army, to help the police, to help even the national security defense. We have an Air Force that goes into bombing innocent civilians. We saw it in Kaduna, I've forgotten the other name. Then it happened in Nasir in 2022. So we have the security apparatchiks that carry the ranks, but not doing the jobs. The killings will continue to go on. I must confess that to you. It's already spreading. They killed a monarch in Kwara 2 days ago. 3 days ago, it was Ekiti Obas. Yeah. And we knew what happened when Akin Malaolu was alive. He was a credible voice against insecurity. But we have lost him. Who do we have again in Southwest? We have lost Yinka Odumaki, a credible voice. Baba Adebanjo is the only credible voice left in the Southwest today. So we are going to be having propaganda to cover up. You could remember what Bayo Onanuga said recently, that media should be careful with the cover they give to security, to insecurity and deaths. That is like a cover-up. But I know it won't happen.
All right. So what exactly do you expect the president, who is also the commander-in-chief, to be doing that he is not already doing?
Yes, that is a very important question. I could remember in 2016, President Buhari attended Security Summit in Lome, Togo, 2016. And while at that summit, he made a promise to carry out sociological inquiry on these criminalities, Boko Haram, terrorism, killings and kidnapping and all of those things. And I took that statement to Femi Adesina in the villa. I said, the president said this. He said, yes. Can I give you the modalities for this sociological inquiry? He asked me to go ahead, and I did. By 2027, we have gone around on some of the universities in all the 6 regions. We have professors, doctors who are going to manage the research. We know, because we now formed a consortium, a sociological consortium, to be able to attack that issue. We submitted it in September 2017 to the National Security Advisor, Mongono, at that time. It was on the shelf till they even finished their second term. Nothing was done. And what I've realized so far are that the establishment that has this hegemony does not want any inquiry to be done in their regions.
Why? Don't they want solutions to their problems? Or are they part of the problem?
They are part of the problems. That is the truth. Because if things cannot be solved, then those who are providing solutions are also part of the problems. And the only way to go is total bombardment. Because I could remember the discussions between Sheikh Gumi and what El-Rufai said about kidnappings. That these guys are now in love with it, and they will prefer to go into kidnapping rather than cattle rearing, and that it's going to be a vogue Sheikh Gumi was saying, let us have dialogue with them, pay them some money and take them off. He actually visited them. But you see, the point is, as long as the leadership has no desire and energy, as long as the leadership is afraid of a particular tribe in carrying out his or her duty, we will continue to have these problems.
For the Tinubu government, I know you have mentioned that there is no desire and there is no energy. Are you sure that it is the absence of desire and energy or fear of what would perhaps fight back?
I will say it is fear.
And not, would that disprove of your earlier submission that there is no desire and no energy?
If there is fear, that is the absence of desire. To me, fear is always a liar. But to those in power, they seem to have compromised to the hegemony. It's difficult to tackle them. You can imagine when Pantami raised his voice against the 6 daughters kidnapped, and one was killed. And not only one, 2 of them were killed. The Arios too also lost a daughter.
Yes.
But Pantami's noise was only on the Fulani girl, the unfortunate girl that died, that was murdered by the kidnappers. Nobody is talking of bailing out the Arios. They also lost a daughter. So that is the character of the Nigerian system, where everybody for his tribe and not for the other tribes. That is a fact. And like I tweeted, actually, over the Eagles, I said it clearly, that Nigeria is made up of 5 republics. We have the Oduduwa nation, the Biafra nation, the Ijaw nation, the Fulani worldwide, and we have the minority nations. That is the weaknesses, the fault lines in our diversity. We have not been able to heal the wounds. We only look for flash in the pan victory, like the issue of Super Eagles. Once they are defeated, we will now go back to our problems. So as I have told you, the president has no desire and energy. And I think, let me put it clearly, it's an odd mixture of lack of energy, lack of desire, and associated with fear.
All right. So does that mean that Nigeria would be beyond redemption during this period that the current administration is in place?
There is a way out. We have to look for a way out. There is no problem without some solutions, except we don't want to think. And we have elders in the society that has been talking of restructuring day in, day out, and every government will not want to go that route. It is important for the president, our president, Bola Tinubu, to know that restructuring is not only important, but the fact that the ethnic nationalities are divided in the diversity. We must sit down. Conference of ethnic nationalities must sit down to brainstorm, to pour out their venoms, and we will get at the solutions. We need to face ourselves. Because if you remember, when rotational presidency came up in 2023, the North sat down together and told us to our face in the South that there is no rotational presidency in the Constitution. Today, they are sad that Tinubu is the president. We can't understand how he made it. It's still a surprise to them that he's the president.
Are you sure that the North is surprised? They had governors who drummed support for President Tinubu.
Well, we know the story. We knew what played out during the election. We know the reactions of Nigerians during the presidential primary tribunal, whatever, even during the Supreme Court. We know the story. And we cannot say we don't know what took place. But it's not good for us to go back to that, because Supreme Court is the final arbiter, and they have taken a decision.
So let's
That decision stands.
So let's okay.
But we cannot stop reflecting on all the things that happened during the election. Nobody can take that away from us, from any Nigerian. It is a right.
So let's come back to the issue of restructuring. In your mind, what is the picture that you have of a restructured Nigeria that would give us, or take us to that promised land?
Yes. You see, the black man is of equal in status with the white man. That is my belief as a sociologist. But because of colonialism, we have been subjugated and we could not evolve to become Europeans. If we have not been colonized, we will have evolved to become Europeans. And what is right for Nigerian leaders to do is to sit down together, look at the mineral resources in all regions. Who are the people mining? Are they licensed to mine or they are illegal miners? Whatever they are mining, where does it go to? Like in Zamfara, they are mining gold. Does the money reflect in the federation account? I cannot even answer that question, whether yes or no. Restructuring will allow every region to know what it has and how to improve on the quality of lives of the people. That is the essence of governance. It provides employment opportunities, provide health-related opportunities, provide educational opportunities, provide atmosphere for industrial locations. If the North, like Kano has 63 industries, today only about 47 are functional. Okano has 350,000 mosques. That is what we are talking about. That if a region is put on its own to harness its own resources, they will make a turnaround. They will be forced to do so. Because if you look at the competition between the North and the South on education and the Southeast, they were almost catching up with us until religion took over. The likes of Chief Obafemi Awolowo, the likes of Malam Aminu Kanu, Alhaji Waziri, they all keyed into education. They made it important in all their manifestos. We don't have that anymore. So, if we are going to restructure, we restructure the policing system. We will restructure the mineral resources in each region. We reduce the center. We do away with the National Assembly, the Senate, and the House of Reps. We don't need 360 people. There are too many.
You want the entire scrapping of the two houses, or we should just scrap one?
The Senate is okay. Even for its figure, we can still reduce it.
Okay.
But the House of Reps, what laws are they making? Look at what they added to the budget. Look at what they added to the budget for themselves. Constituency projects don't reflect on ground. We are all aware of the corruption in our system. We are all very much aware of it, but it's not that we have accepted it as a vogue, as a fashion.
Are you sure that Nigerians have not accepted corruption as fashionable?
No. You see, look at the state of the people of Nigeria's unhappiness. Unhappy people are very, very dangerous. Anything can happen, like a revolution of 1789. If there is anachronism, obscurantism, and resentments. In Nigeria today, we have resentments against the system, even against democracy. People don't seem to trust those in power. And that is a fact. If your leaders have not improved you with your own money, with the Commonwealth's money, they have only improved themselves. How do you expect continuation of docility by the society? One day,
and you really think
the
that
only leader is
Nigerians...
back.
But that is in contrast to what Rotimi Amechi has said about Nigerians. He says Nigerians are the sort of people that allow anything and everything to go, and that is why politicians do what they do, because they feel strongly that Nigerians would simply overlook everything and continue to adapt.
Well, Rotimi Amechi forgot the answers. It was a revolt.
Was that not a one-time experience?
That was an experience that taught leaders a lesson.
But what changes have happened since then?
It's because the leaders refused to carry out the reforms.
And if
whether
the
they
leaders
like it or
refuse,
not,
if the leaders refuse to carry out the reforms, doesn't that point to the notion that they learned no lesson from that revolt, and they do not think that it's going to happen again?
in the affairs of human society, there is always patience, there is always silence. But that silence that you are looking at is also a conversation. I must confess to you, France was like that in the ancient period. The people were patient, silent, until suddenly there was an increase in the price of bread. November 5th, 1789, and riot broke out. Riot broke out in Morocco too. It was over the price of bread. So you can never know what will create the spark of people to come out. We have seen protests, little protests by market women over the cost of this, cost of that, cost of this, cost of that. But it is building up. People are unhappy. We must have a conference of ethnic nationalities to be able to pour out our emotions, our sentiments. Then we will be able to heal the wounds. It will be from that conference that we will now restructure. If we don't do the conference, Nigeria will never be able to settle. And my prayer is for Nigeria to settle.
But
so that we can have prosperity in the society.
But it is one thing to do the conference. It is another thing to implement the submissions and the resolutions, the recommendations of that conference. We saw what happened with the 2014 confab. So who will bail the cat? Do you think that Nigerian leaders have the patriotism to bail the cat and implement whatever it is that would be the recommendation from such conference?
As we grow in strength or with faith and with strength, the Nigerian leaders will make a U-turn one day. We will never stop relenting. We will never stop asking for a conference of ethnic nationalities as long as killings and religion takes center stage in the affairs of creating spasm of bloodlettings across the nation. The leaders will yield because society owns government. The people are the owner of democracy. The people are the owner of government. And government was formed for one primary reason: to put orderliness in our lives. So the leaders today will not escape from that interrogation that society owns government. So willy-nilly, they will do the right thing. The right leaders will come and they will put on their thinking caps and they will give us a national conference and translate it into laws.
You're really hopeful. You're really hopeful of that, but that is the same hope that Nigerians have had since 1966, or perhaps let's even say since the end of the Second Republic. How long would it take before we get to that actualization of this hope that you bear in mind?
In the study of society, there is what we call dialectical materialism, the dialectical process. What that process stands for is that humanity will always engage within themselves some kind of war of attritions. That means the good will come out together to fight evil. It will continue like that, because they are moving towards perfection. That we call it in sociology, thesis and antithesis. So the struggle must continue. It cannot be altered. The leaders cannot alter that process. So whether they are lackadaisical over national conference or a quick solution to our problems, we will continue to interrogate them until they do the right thing. Right. That is the way of humanity.
A reminder that we are streaming live on on YouTube at Adamimogo 931 FM. And my guest is the president of the Yoruba Ronu Leadership Forum, Mr. Akin Malaolu. We are taking a look at the state of the nation. What exactly is the problem with Nigeria, and how can we find solutions to some of the problems that currently exist? Let's move on a bit, or perhaps track back a bit to when you talked about the lack of desire, energy, and fear on the part of President Bola Tinubu and the rest of his cabinet to institute some groundbreaking changes that are in there. There are those that would argue with you that the president is not afraid. If the president was afraid, then it wouldn't have removed fuel subsidy at the time that he did. If the president was afraid, it would perhaps not have made reforms in the foreign exchange market. So why must he be scared at this point to make the much needed and desperate reforms needed in the security situation in the country?
The economy and the subsidy removal to the flotation of the naira were things done in a hurry. Because I could recollect that the president said so himself that he did it by himself. Removal of he inserted the removal of subsidy into his own inaugural speech. And you see, it was an error for him to have done so, and we have seen the error. He knew of the consequences of his action. And a leader, before a leader will take a decision like removal of subsidy, he has to look at many things. Number one, do we have energy security in this country? No, we do not have energy security in this country. Number two, do we have good export platforms that could give us good balance of trade against flotation of naira? We do not have that too. What is the productivity level in Nigeria at the time he removed the subsidy? He did not measure that also. So when he took those two decisions, flotation of the naira and removal of subsidy, he did one thing that was strange. No country has ever done so: extreme capitalism. Flotation of naira is extreme capitalism. That is the vagaries of demands and supply. Which nation will not have political intervention in its own economic development and growth? It's only Tinubu's government.
No, but are we not beginning to see a tactical track back with some of the moves by the CBN?
CBN did what they should have done 4 months ago. They just did it 4 days ago. That banks should not keep dollars for speculative purposes. And they have released the dollars. So where will more dollars come from? I'm asking you, my good brother. We have no export platform. Presently, we are going to pay 12-point-something billion through crude oil swap to Afrexim Bank for borrowing 3.3 billion. We are going to pay back 12-point-something billion. So, what are we going to? Are we going to go above the OPEC quota? No. Whether we like it or not, there is unstable policies. There is no discipline in Tinubu's government. His policies has created instability. No company in Nigeria can plan as we are today. They cannot plan for manpower. They cannot plan for raw materials. They cannot even discuss wage increase. It is as bad as that. Naira value will continue to crumble. I'm saying it clearly now. By September, Naira may become 2,000 Naira to the dollar. Because when he floated those two decisions by May 29th, 2023, we made a publication that by September, it will be 1,000 to the Naira, to the dollar. By December, it will be 1,002, and it both came to pass. It is in the Guardian newspaper. And we told him that by the end of January, we said it end of January to be 1,005, and it came to 1,005. We have economics in our forum. We are looking at Nigeria. And like I told you, we are not focused on Negroes. We are focused on what can we do to get this nation up, to get it moving towards prosperity.
All right.
That is our ambition.
The CBN governor tried to raise the hopes of Nigerians by saying that, a couple of days ago, by saying that the CBN is working to reduce inflation to 21.4% this year. I stumbled on one of your replies to that particular claim when you said that your projection is that inflation would rise to as high as
32%.
Okay, I thought it was 34% by April.
32.
Okay, 32% by April this year. That is at variance, really strong variance with what the CBN is promising a lot of Nigerians. Are you saying they are going to be promising and failing?
You see, the functions of CBN should be clearly understood. It is the duty of CBN to give us a stable macroeconomic frameworks. They have not done that. It is the duty of CBN to manage the Nigerian currency, what is under flotation. And if the CBN is making projection on inflation and all of that, what are the factors that will bring inflation down? Number one, there has to be security. There has to be opportunities for farmers to have access to their farmlands. The roads have to be good, secured, and safe for traders to patronize the farmers. Where all of these are not available, where will food come from? That means the little food that will come into the market will be gotten at very high prices. As long as that you see, the synergy we are expecting from the government, that is the central bank with the ministries, departments and agencies, there is no synergy, because let us look at productivity now. Assuming the budget of Nigeria is a budget of productivity, then every ministry's budget must be focused on productivity. What has Agric done? What has Agric Ministry done? The issue of ranching is still there. No state has started to ranch. And that is a key point. Once we ranch the animals, these terrorists will be separated. They will not be within the ranching areas. The security can tackle them easily. But when you see odd mixtures of men inside the forest, farmers cannot go. Traders cannot be on the road. Everybody is afraid. So, the central bank governor is not relating with the ministries to be able to tell them that let us go into productivity. The solid minerals, we are expecting Dele Alake, the minister for solid minerals, to put energy more on productions so that we can pass raw materials with added value to the manufacturer. Even if you are going to export, its focus should be on added value before we export. But all of these things are not happening. That is solid minerals for you. He has altered mineral exploitation or exploration. I've not seen any statement where he said that they should continue with their mining. And when you want them to continue with their minings, you have to take audits. You must have a gang that will go around and take audits of whatever they are nesting from the ground. The property, those things belong to Nigeria.
But he has also referenced the issue of several illegal miners, saying some of them are even threatening him. Some of them who are big Nigerians, quote and unquote, big Nigerians in place, and those are the people he's trying to get out of the system first.
Well, if you name them, they must if they have a face, then they must have names. That is where I tell you, the fear is there. Why can't they name them? We have the sponsors of terrorism, even alleged sponsors. They are walking freely about.
Let's look at this comment by Tijani Olawale Ismail. Thank you very much, Tijani. They say the Nigerian president is bold, and that boldness was applied when he declared subsidy is gone, on the day that he was sworn in as Nigeria's president. But my question is, why didn't he use that boldness to restructure this country? Because they said he fought for this democracy, and I believe he saw how things have been since 1999, that nothing is working and nothing has changed for better, but instead it gets worse. Yet he continues in the same path that his predecessors followed. May he receive wisdom from God, as did Solomon. Amen. That's according to Tijani Olale Ismail on WhatsApp. Do you want to react to what Tijani has said?
Well, Tijani's view and my views are almost the same. We have a man who has been good, been on top of himself, been very active as a politician, but is now on the seat of power. Why is he losing courage in fighting against terrorism, sponsors of terrorism, in moving tactically against terrorists in our forests? The policing system, which he quite sincerely said we should have state police, is now at the ends of affair. Why don't we have state police under his purview? Those are the questions we are going to be asking the president in some days to come. But the point is, if a man has done so much to be expressing willingness or advising other governments to go into state policing, why is he not doing so?
Let us look at what the Lion of the Navy, Odumegu, the late Odumegu Ojukwu, said about requirements for anybody who would want to be president of Nigeria. He forewarned that no leader should fear death. In fact, you should accept the fact that from the moment of leadership, you are sacrificed to death. Each subsequent day becomes a bonus for the preparation of one's memorial. It would come to, one would imply that means that the moment you take on anything leadership in Nigeria, you must be ready to die if you want to effect or implement change. Do you think that this is indeed what the problem is, as well as the quality that is needed?
Well, Ojukwu's sentence or statement can be rephrased, and I'm going to do just that. From what you have read, from the quotes from Ojukwu,
yes,
Ojukwu has succinctly defined that leadership connotes desire and energy to do certain things, like to lead, to turn around, to lay down, to consider, to exceed, and to restrain. And I'll pick each one. To restrain is like you restrain the sponsors of Boko Haram. You know the terrorists, financiers. Arrest them. That is the meaning of you restrain them. You exceed. That is, you must be able to see beyond the people. The people should not be reminding you of what is coming ahead. You are supposed, as a leader, to see what is coming ahead and face it. You must have the courage. Where we have leaders who will play only ethnic and religious cards, such leaders are not going to exceed. They are not going to restrain. They are not going to lay down. Neither will they consider or lead properly. That was what Ojukwu had said. And I love his quotes. I love the quotes you read out on him. And similarly too, we have other leaders who have spoken seriously about leadership in this country. Baba Adebanjo is one. At his age, he's still struggling to make sure Nigeria is for Nigerians. At his age. And look at what younger generations are doing. Look at what better he did at the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs. That ministry is key to resolving the issue of poverty. And every woman that they have put there, they have always messed up the ministry.
Is it about gender and age?
It's about morals. When it is not because you are old that you have wisdom. You must build wisdom as you grow into old age. If you don't have it, if you don't have good morals, the likelihood that you will not have good wisdom is clearly a reality.
But let's also look at the social investment program that has been a part of the APC's manifesto from former President Muhammadu Buhari down to Bola Ahmed Tinubu. People, I think a couple of weeks ago, I had Professor Anthony Kila on the program, and he said a nation that offers stipends to its citizens in the name of fighting poverty or alleviating poverty is not exactly a serious country, or a country that is serious about mitigating the numbers of people in poverty in that particular country. Do you agree or disagree with that notion?
I agree with that notion, simply because it is the duty of government to create opportunities. Opportunity means productivity. Productivity stands for agri purposes, industrialization, where people can be gainfully employed. Like, you want to pay my mother 5,000 naira, but if you give me good education and other opportunities, I'll be able to cater for my parents. I don't need poverty alleviation from government to feed my own family. But you see, when you look at the population of the poverty-stricken population, so to say, look at the North. They keep putting almonjuris into marriage rather than giving them vocational training. Who will feed those children? What vocations have they trained those almonjuris into before giving them wives? So there are a lot of things we have encouraged. And that means we don't have leaders who are sincerely for the people, who can sit down and look for growth for their nation. I will give you another example. Tomatoes come from the north, not so, and pepper.
Yes.
That is some distance. These are perishable items. That is what in urban geography they call it distant decay. Before it gets to the south, what will be the state of that perishable item? And we could see them in the markets. Some are already rotting, they will bring them to us like that. But what are the governors of Southwest and Southeast doing regarding farming? If we have to be waiting for tomatoes and pepper 800 kilometers away, where are we not farming? Nobody will answer that question among all the governors. Their interest is cargo airports. They are not farming, so what are they going to cargo out of that place?
All right.
So we have lots of things that are wrong. Poverty alleviation is something that should be eased out with time as the nation grows into industrialization,
Right.
as the nation starts to have machine tools factories. Like recently, the Nigerian Railways said one thing, They are going back to their old tracks. I was really, really excited about it. For one reason, the trains will move on those tracks, traders will move with them, farmers will be expectant to see traders dropping at the remote areas to buy some of these things. The trains will come back through the same route and pick them up. That is changing the movements to trade relationship between, and once the terrorists start seeing train moving and people coming to buy this, they will throw down their guns or they will be arrested. Activities have ceased in our rural areas. That is a fact. Rural areas used to be very, very calm, nice place to be, but not again in Nigeria.
All right. Let's take a couple of reactions. 0805 5888 192. Hello, good morning. Hello. Okay, 0805 5888 192 or 0805